warm welcome to all our viewers. I'm your host Harshit Bhatia and you're watching another episode of South Asia Focus. Let's begin the show. India's diplomacy continues to gain global recognition as the country plays an increasingly influential role in shaping international dialogue on sustainability, technology and inclusive development. At the G20 summit in Johannesburg, Prime Minister Narendra Modi reaffirmed India's leadership advocating for cooperation that benefits all nations, particularly the Global South. Take a look.
India's diplomacy is increasingly being recognized on the global stage, with the country emerging as a key voice in shaping international agendas on sustainability, technology, and inclusive development. At the G20 summit in Johannesburg, Prime Minister Narendra Modi showcased India's growing influence by advocating for cooperation that benefits all nations, especially the Global South. This marked PM Modi's 12th participation in G20 summits, where he addressed both sessions on the opening day. In his speeches, he emphasized the need for critical technologies to be human-centric rather than finance-centric and called for global compact to prevent the misuse of artificial intelligence. He also highlighted that technological solutions should be global rather than national and built on open source principles rather than exclusive models. In a briefing by India's Ministry of External Affairs, several initiatives proposed by the Prime Minister were highlighted.
Elaborating India's approach to growth, development and well-being for all, Prime Minister proposed a few actionable for the G20 to consider. These included, number one, creation of a G20 Global Traditional Knowledge Repository. This would harness collective wisdom of humanity for the benefit of future generations. Secondly, creation of a G20 Africa Skills Multiplier. This program would aim to create a pool of 1 million certified trainers for skilling the youth in Africa. The third, creation of a G20 Global Healthcare Response Team, which would comprise healthcare experts from each of the G20 members and could be deployed to deal with global health challenges in any part of the world.
Beyond the summit hall, PM Modi held meetings with leaders from several countries, including Canada and Italy. India and Italy announced a joint initiative to combat terrorist financing while discussing ways to strengthen trade, defense, and security ties. PM Modi also attended the India-Brazil-South Africa IBSA Leaders meeting, urging urgent reforms in global governance, particularly the UN Security Council. Furthermore, he met with South African tech entrepreneurs, encouraging them to deepen collaboration with India.
Over the last few years, we invested 80,000 crore in India, and our intention is to double these investments. We are very excited about the potential of growth in India technology, and meeting with Prime Minister was amazing because under his leadership, the use of technology in India has been a reference for the world, and we think Naspers and Prosus can learn from India, but also contribute to invest in startups' ideas to make India a benchmark in AI globally. That's the experience we have, and we really want to invest and develop together with India. So yeah, we discussed with Prime Minister many areas to keep investing in new technologies and AI, and I'm confident we are going to keep succeeding in our investments in India.
The G20 summit wrapped up with the adoption of a Leaders' Declaration, building on the priorities India championed during its 2023 presidency. It called for greater solidarity, equality, and sustainability as pillars of inclusive global growth, while strongly condemning terrorism and reaffirming support for international efforts against money laundering, terrorist financing, and proliferation financing. India's proactive diplomacy and forward-looking initiatives not only shaped these outcomes, but also reinforced its stature as a trusted and influential global leader. Under Prime Minister Modi's guidance, India continues to set benchmarks in technology, innovation, and sustainable development, demonstrating a leadership approach that unites nations, fosters progress, and promotes shared prosperity for the world.
Moving on, India and Afghanistan have historically shared close economic and diplomatic ties, with India playing a key role in Afghanistan's reconstruction and development over the past 2 decades. However, after the Taliban came to power in 2021, formal engagement with New Delhi slowed considerably, leaving diplomatic and trade channels largely dormant. Now, amid regional uncertainties and rising tensions with Pakistan, the Taliban government is seeking to revitalize relations with India, intensifying efforts to strengthen trade, investment and diplomatic engagement. India and Afghanistan have long enjoyed close economic and diplomatic relations, with New Delhi supporting Kabul's development and infrastructure projects, including roads, hospitals and power plants over the past 2 decades. Since the Taliban takeover in August 2021, India's official engagement with Kabul slowed, limited mainly to humanitarian aid and non-political channels. But signs of change are emerging. In a move to reinvigorate bilateral ties, Afghanistan's Minister of Commerce and Industry Alhaj Nuruddin Azizi recently arrived in New Delhi. His visit came just weeks after Afghan Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi travelled to India, the first high-level Taliban engagement in New Delhi since 2021, signalling Kabul's renewed focus on stabilizing relations and boosting economic cooperation.
सबसे ज़्यादा जो हमारे अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह इसमें हमारे विज़िट का यहाँ आने का इसका कंक्लूजन था, इसमें दोनों मुल्कों के दरमियान जो प्राइवेट सेक्टर होगा और जो ऑफिशियल डेलीगेशन हमारे तरफ से है या ऑफिशियल इंडिया की तरफ से है, एक दूसरे के साथ चाहते हैं कि काम करें। ये सबसे हमारे खूबी यही है। अगर हम किसी को और के साथ बात करेंगे तो वो यानी उसका मन होगा या नहीं होगा, लेकिन यहाँ के जो हमारे प्राइवेट सेक्टर था अफगानिस्तान में उसको इन्वेस्ट करने में पूरा दिल चाहते हैं। जो पहले भी अफगानिस्तान के साथ इन्होंने काम किए और अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह अफगानिस्तान में तो आपको पता है आजकल बहुत सारे मौके हैं कि अफगानिस्तान में काम करे, खूब कमाए और अपनी कंपनी को अफगानिस्तान में इस्टेब्लिश करें।
As a part of the outreach, India and Afghanistan have announced plans to launch air cargo services aimed at boosting trade and overcoming disruptions caused by the closure of Afghanistan's border with Pakistan following military clashes. Taliban Trade Minister Nuruddin Azizi has urged India to boost trade and open cargo hubs as Kabul seeks access to grains, medicines and industrial goods following the closure of its border with Pakistan after military clashes.
I am pleased to announce that the air freight corridor on the Kabul-Delhi sector and Kabul-Amritsar routes have been activated, and cargo flights on these sectors will commence very soon. This will significantly enhance air connectivity and further strengthen our trade and commercial ties.
Bilateral trade discussions are targeting strategic sectors including textiles, where Afghanistan expressed interest in leveraging India's expertise as the world's second-largest cotton producer. Afghan officials also briefed Indian trade bodies on access to more than 1,400 mineral fields rich in copper, gold, lithium, iron ore and gemstones. According to a joint Pentagon-US Geological Survey study, Afghanistan's untapped mineral wealth is estimated at around $1 trillion. Moreover, Indian businesses are eager to explore opportunities, particularly in sectors like healthcare, infrastructure and IT, where early collaboration could yield significant benefits.
I think that what we had discussed is how our members can participate in the development journey of Afghanistan. And especially there are low-hanging fruits in healthcare sector, in medical sector, hospitals and infrastructure and other, like IT and all these sectors. There is huge opportunity for Indian businesses in Afghanistan. And the minister has assured that whatever issues that we have in past, in sense there are few members who are already doing business with Afghanistan, and they had shared their concern with the Honorable Minister of Afghanistan, who was very proactive. He said that whatever issues are there, we will find the immediate solution for that.
With high-level talks and sector-specific collaborations underway, India and Afghanistan are working to deepen economic cooperation despite regional challenges. From launching air cargo services to tapping into Afghanistan's mineral and industrial potential, both countries appear committed to forging a stronger and more resilient partnership in the years ahead. Time now for Asia This Week, the stories from across the continent.
NOK Corporation declared to develop global business under new corporate identity and groundbreaking logo. NOK Corporation is an essential and core manufacturing company for mobility industry, electronic industry and others to provide many products of sealing, electronic and chemical field. NOK Group CEO Masao Suru is a revolutionary leader to expand global business stage with groundbreaking corporate identity. NOK product is essential and core for global industry. United NOK staff under corporate identity and group CEO's leadership will contribute to satisfy global social necessity. Malaysia and Thailand are reeling from yet another round of intense flooding, leaving widespread displacement and a rising death toll. Dozens have been killed in Thailand, while thousands of people have been forced from their homes across 7 Malaysian states as relentless monsoon rains continue to batter the region. Footage captured shows the southern Thai city of Hatyai submerged in flood waters, with streets transformed into rivers and residents struggling to navigate the inundated areas. Yamaha Motor held World Technician Grand Prix at headquarters in Shizuoka Prefecture. It aims to keep high-level skill of mechanic from 19 countries. 22 mechanics who are winner of each country's preliminary contest participated. Participants challenged to 2 competitions: diagnosis of vehicle's trouble and repair it. In this competition, skill of detecting and use of tool are checked by judge. Response to customer is another checkpoint. To inform about detecting and repairing result is important to cultivate trustful relationship between customer. Through this event, Yamaha Motor brings up Doctor of Motorbike. Continuous effort is made to keep high level and reliable vehicle brand.
As India positions itself to emerge as a global hub for semiconductors and pharmaceuticals, the country is experiencing a significant transformation toward advanced manufacturing, cutting-edge technologies, and high-value innovation. Supported by government initiatives, increasing exports, expanding industrial infrastructure, and a growing pool of skilled engineers, India is entering a new phase of technology-driven growth. Against this backdrop, I spoke with Mr. Gaurav Thakral, Managing Director of Avante-Guard Clean Room and Engineering Solutions, to gain insights into India's progress in these 2 critical sectors. As India positions itself as a global hub of chips and pharma, today we are going to discuss the emerging technologies, talent and next-gen manufacturing. By my side, I have Mr. Gaurav Thakral, who is the Managing Director of Avante-Guard Engineering Solutions. Sir, thank you so much for your time and thank you so much for joining in today's show.
Thank you very much, Harshit, and thank you so much to the ANI team for having us on board and discussing this India's journey into semicon and pharma. Very glad to be with you. Thank you.
So India is emerging as a global powerhouse of pharma sector basically. So when we talk about from bulk drug manufacturing to the high-end formulations, how do you see the growth trajectory of India in the current growth of pharma sector? And how do you see the key aspects of this industry or key trends that will shape its future?
The India's growth trajectory in the pharma is actually on an uprise. India is on a very, very high growth path for pharma. and also the allied industry with pharma, which is like nutraceutical. Now, why is this happening? India is, as you know, we have 1.45 billion Indians. So there is a extensive captive market within India. At ACES, ACES was established in 2010. This was at the time when, on the Indian landscape, pharma was the only major clean room application. Now, ACES had its bearing in all the kind of different pharma applications, and whether you call it oral medicines, that is tablets and capsules, or you call it injectables, or antibiotics, or hormones, you name it. And ACES was, in those, all those applications.
So I'll now cut to the semiconductor part in India. So if we talk about the semiconductor growth, or I would say we had the Semicon 2025 in India as well, that was held in Yashobhoomi Dwarka. So the massive outlay of this program, like how is this, the ACES, or I would say, how do you see the scaling of the semiconductor sector? And I would also ask you about the resource deployment and the supply chain strategy of the Indian market in this sector.
Yes, Harshit, very relevant to the Indian context. As I mentioned to you that back in 2010, or say, let's say early 2000, the only major application in the country for clean rooms was pharmaceuticals, or maybe a distant second was hospitals. Now, as we go along, if you see from 2000 until 2010 and 2010 to 2020, the semicon, which is what we usually call as chips, they started, India started talking about chips. Why not we produce chips in India? Why not semicon in India? Now, that's a very relevant question, because India's consumption of semicon is huge. Just to give you a perspective, it is possibly going to be the second largest import for India by 2030. So I think it was very, very, I would say prudent for the Indian establishment, PM Modi, to see this as an opportunity and to usher India into a semicon wave.
How do you see the current Indian economy? There were a lot of US tariffs as well in previous months when US was giving us tariffs on the Indian market. How do you see, but still India is, standing as a self-reliant economy today. How do you see this?
Yes, Harshit, your question has an answer in it. So as I see it, India is a very, very robust and a resilient economy. And you said already self-reliant. So because of the sheer consumption power that India has. So that's by our side. The second big factor for India is the huge infrastructure development which is taking place at a rapid pace.
For surely we are going to see the India in terms of pharma or in terms of chip manufacturing as a leader by 2030 or 35, as you said. Well, sir, thank you so much for joining today on our show. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
India paid tribute to a towering figure of courage, faith and sacrifice, Guru Tegh Bahadur, the 9th Sikh Guru whose life and martyrdom continue to inspire millions across the world. The nation observed the 350th anniversary of his martyrdom, and cities and towns came alive with devotion, remembrance and the spirit of unity that he stood for.
In the annals of history, certain lives shine as beacons of courage and conscience. Guru Tegh Bahadur is one such luminary. Born in 1621, he devoted his life to defending justice, protecting human rights and preserving religious freedom. In 1675, he was executed in Delhi under the orders of Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb for refusing to convert to Islam and for standing up for the oppressed Kashmiri Pandits. His selfless sacrifice became a defining moment in Sikh history, symbolizing the eternal struggle for freedom of belief and the power of moral courage. Across India, the streets came alive in devotion as thousands of Sikh devotees gathered to commemorate the 350th martyrdom anniversary. Vibrant Nagar Kirtans filled the cities with hymns, prayers and the spirit of unity, carrying forward the timeless message of Guru Tegh Bahadur. In Haryana's sacred land of Kurukshetra, Prime Minister Narendra Modi participated in the commemorative program honouring the revered 9th Sikh Guru. Speaking on the occasion, the Prime Minister emphasised the enduring legacy of Sikh Gurus in shaping the values of service, courage and truth, and noted that their teachings are now included in the national curriculum to inspire future generations.
साथियों, हमारे गुरुओं की परंपरा, हमारे राष्ट्र के चरित्र, हमारी संस्कृति और हमारी मूल भावना का आधार है। हमने सिख परंपरा के इतिहास और गुरुओं की शिक्षाओं को राष्ट्रीय पाठ्यक्रम का हिस्सा भी बनाया है, ताकि सेवा, साहस और सत्य के ये आदर्श हमारी नई पीढ़ी की सोच का आधार बने।
From Amritsar to Delhi and across many parts of the country, langars were organized, spreading the message of selfless service and community harmony, a cornerstone of Sikh values.
आज जो गुरु तेग बहादुर साहब ਦਾ ਸ਼ਤਾਬਦੀ 350ਵੀਂ ਸਾਲ ਬਣਾਈ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਪੂਰੇ ਵਿਸ਼ਵ ਪੱਧਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਸ ਦੀਆਂ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਰੈੱਡ ਫੋਰਟ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਦੇ ਵਿਖੇ ਪੂਰਾ ਸਜਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਭਾਈ ਗੁਰੂ ਤੇਗ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ, ਜਿਸ ਨੇ ਕਸ਼ਮੀਰੀ ਪੰਡਤਾਂ ਦੀ ਫਰਿਆਦ ਸੁਣ ਕੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਤੇਗ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਸ਼ਹਾਦਤ ਪੇਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀ।
Guru Tegh Bahadur's sacrifice was not just a historical event. It was a profound assertion of the right to choose one's spiritual path, a principle that remains at the heart of Sikhism and modern human rights. His martyrdom in 1675 is remembered as a courageous moral stand against coercion, a defense of freedom of conscience, and a testament to pluralism. Over centuries, his example has inspired countless generations to stand against injustice, oppression, and intolerance, reaffirming the timeless message that righteousness and courage must prevail over fear.
350 years on, Guru Tegh Bahadur's sacrifice still lights the path of justice, faith and freedom. And with that, we come to an end of this week's episode. See you next week. Till then, goodbye and take care.